This episode of Wookeis on X-Wing is brought to you in part by Metagames, Atlantic Canada's newest gaming and tournament center.
You can check it out at metagames.com. That's metagames with a Z.com.
Long live Metagames! Welcome back to Wookeis on X-Wing. I'm John.
And I'm Matt.
And today we have two squadrons. One, we have returning player Scott Robinson, and he is flying that wonderful Palp aces that seemed to juke him the last time he was on camera. That is Whisper, the TIE Phantom, with Veteran Instincts, increasing his pilot skill up by 2. Sensor Jammer, Advanced Cloaking Device, as you would want to do on a Phantom, and Agent Callus. We also have Omicron Pilot with none other than the Emperor himself, Emperor Palpatine, for some nice dice modification, as well as Omega Leader with Juke and Comm Relay. Nice combo with Omega Leader with his ability to negate modification on a ship that he has target locks. Combine that with Comm Relay and Juke. He always has that evade token when he needs it. And, you can screw around with their defense dice with Juke. As for newcomer Tanya...
So Tanya is running a double Firespray list. However, it is Scum Firesprays. We have Boba Fett with Veteran Instincts, a K4 Security Droid, a Heavy Laser Cannon, Inertial Dampeners, and the Slave 1 title. And then we have Kath Scarlet, also in her Firespray, with a Heavy Laser Cannon as well, a K4 Security Droid, and Veteran Instincts.
Now, what's really cool about these two fighters that Tanya is flying is that they appear both in the Empire as well as Scum and Villainy. What is different from the Scum versions of these ships that you would see normally in the Imperials?
Well, the pilot skill, the core statistics of the ship, they're exactly the same. And we're just seeing here, Scott is choosing to Agent Callus onto Tanya's Boba Fett. But the big difference is their pilot abilities. Now, Boba Fett's Scum pilot ability is while there's an enemy ship at range 1, he gets to re-roll an attack and a defense dice.
Okay.
And then Kath Scarlet's ability is whenever she's attacking out of her auxiliary fire arc, she gets to roll an extra attack dice.
So Kath Scarlet really wants to moon ya, and Boba Fett really wants to get in close. That is really cool. I can definitely see why Scott would want to take Agent Callus and put his ability on Boba Fett. Agent Callus, of course, being, at the start of the first round, choose one enemy, small or large ship, which is Boba Fett. When attacking or defending against a ship, you may change one of your focus results to a hit or a defense result. It doesn't matter if you're attacking or defending. It's really cool on Whisper, allowing you to secure the kill against that fighter, and Boba Fett's ability of just being extremely annoying when it comes to his own rerolls sort of gives you that nice negation there.
Yeah, it's really useful, especially the defensive ability is really useful on the Phantom, just with the sheer amount of defense dice that thing is going to be throwing.
Let's see if Scott is able to use the Phantom's ability to arc dodge to stay out of those firing arcs, those nice primary and auxiliary firing arcs.
Yeah.
With Kath Scarlet, though, it's going to be very tricky because with these heavy laser cannons, she's throwing 4 attack dice forward, and when she's turning around and firing, she's firing 4 attack dice backwards.
Yeah, the Kath has, 4 attack dice in front at any range, and then behind her, she can have, 5 attack dice at range 1 if you're not careful.
Yeah, very much so. And then on top of that, we both have K4 security droids, and as well on Boba Fett, you have that nice inertial dampeners allowing you to stop, park yourself right in range 1, right when you need to, especially since you get to reveal your dial and then decide, I'm going to park here now, and that can be extremely powerful. The Slave 1 title, I like what Tanya's doing here. Like that style, it doesn't do really anything. She's not using the torpedo slot at all. But it's a 0-point title. It's the Slave 1.
Oh, that's Boba Fett. You gotta have it.
Yeah.
And so here we go. We see the Palp Shuttle is getting himself nice and staying nice and close behind Omega Leader here. Really doesn't want to get that anywhere near Tanya's Firesprays. And now Whisper actually has to be pretty careful with Tanya's fleet here, because Boba Fett does outpilot skill her. Boba Fett is a 10 with Veteran Instincts when Whisper is only a 9. So Whisper can't do the thing she normally does of shoot and disappear.
Yeah. So you really have to be smart with this Phantom, you really have to get into basically arc dodge. You have to get into the arcs that aren't being able to fire at you. So, and that's something that the Phantom can do quite easily. And the Firespray vehicle doesn't really have the kind of maneuvers that you'd expect to be able to tightly, sharply turn. It doesn't have those one hard turns that you'd see on some of the more versatile Scum ships.
Yeah, exactly. And Scott here is really making use of that almost line of asteroids towards his side of the board there.
Yeah.
Just keeping Whisper out of direct line of sight of Boba Fett there.
Now, what's really going to be interesting here is what Omega Leader is going to be able to do. Because Omega Leader can obviously use a target lock, probably going to put it on Kath, so that Kath can't get rerolls from the K4 Security Droid, with K4 Security Droid doing green maneuvers, basically immediately getting a target lock, and then Kath can do something like evade. You spend an evade token, get an evade token, or get a focus, but both of those aren't really going to be as useful with Omega Leader, and it's a pilot ability. Yeah. The one thing that also is in Scott's favor here, especially with Omega Leader, is Palpatine.
Yeah, definitely. And he has initiative, which in the duel between Whisper's pilot skill and Kath's pilot skill, Whisper can shoot and disappear before Kath. So if he can get Boba Fett down quickly, he can really let the Phantom off its chain.
Okay, so there were some nice opening shots. Looked like Boba Fett was firing into a uncloaked Phantom, but
it's range 3 through an asteroid, so it might as well be cloaked.
Yeah.
Especially with Agent Callus,
However, the heavy laser cannon did come into play, so you only did get 3 defense dice.
Yeah.
But it was still a risky business for that Phantom.
Definitely.
So looks like that Omicron pilot is just going to mosey on forward, take its time. Obviously, the one wing is down to show that it's sort of reaching out for air to just catch itself.
Yeah, and this is kind of an awkward maneuver to properly template out, but he's really is using the TIFO as a set of brakes.
Yeah.
He wants to keep that thing as far away from Kath as he can.
Yeah, and that's one of the beautiful things about an Omicron is that, yeah, it does have that zero maneuver, but if you're going to bump anyway, you don't need to use it. You don't need to stress yourself out. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so here we've got nice Omega Leader just keeping his evade token from the comm relay there.
And we're going to see some acquiring of target locks.
Definitely. Get that anti-modification out. Just have to quickly verify that they're both using some special acrylic tokens here. We don't want the same letters or get confused.
Yeah. So we definitely have a good idea of what Omega Leader is going to do. Now let's have a look and see what the Phantom's going for.
Yeah, we'll see if we'll see if Tanya, if she decides to turn Boba Fett in towards the shuttle and just let her auxiliary fire arc do the work here. It is, with Scott using the asteroids to screen Whisper, it does kind of make it pretty obvious about the only place Whisper can go. But the Firespray having both those arcs, it really gives her a lot of options of where she wants that ship to go.
Well, it looks like Tanya realizes that Omega Leader is going to be an absolute pain, decided to use the K4 Security Droid to target lock Palpatine, and here we have Boba Fett. I think Boba Fett is going to continue course, and he might even pick off Omega Leader. Now that Omega Leader has target locked Kath,
yep, it looks
Boba Fett is a real threat to him.
Yeah, it looks like Tanya has picked her target here. Oh, preemptively target locking with the taking the free target lock from the K4 and preemptively grabbing Whisper with it, and then taking a focus for Bubba's action. I expected a bank there just to give her complete options, but I mean, if you just mosey forward one, why not? And here's the heavy laser cannon coming out into Omega Leader. And Boba is able to modify his dice. And that is 4 potential hits. There is the Palpatine used on Omega Leader's blank evade. He has to spend his token, and he still takes a hit.
Wow, that's quite impressive, especially since Boba Fett didn't have, you know, any kind of dice modification there.
Well, he had a focus token on him, so he was able to focus that up, which was nice. I think it got him 1 or 2 hits there.
Yeah. I think that's one of the beautiful things about Scum Boba Fett here, is that when you get into the range 1 band, especially if you're fighting against multiple ships, you can, well, quite frankly, you just get a whole bunch of rerolls, and that K4 Security Droid, while it's really, really nice, isn't as needed. But when you're firing against things like Arc Dodgers and really good, dogfighters, endgame units, that's when you need that K4 Security Droid, and that action economy is just so good on these Scum ships.
Yeah, being able to double up your modification abilities is incredibly useful.
So it looks like there's a bit of a question here about how heavy laser cannon interaction will work with the Omega Leader ability. Now, there wasn't an FAQ out at this time, so they might not be using the ruling that there is now. They did call me over, but I can't remember if my suggestion was in line with the new FAQ ruling, which is the heavy laser cannon doesn't have to modify its crits to not crits. So we'll see how they interact with the dice rolls here.
Yeah, it's an interesting corner case of, oh, that's right, you can't do that. It's one of those strange things of saying, one card says you do this, you must do this, and the other card says no, you can't.
Yeah. And because this was, like I said, this was done early March. This was before Omega Leader really had to have these FAQs put in place. We just came up with something that everybody agreed on, and we just played it that way for the rest of the event.
And so Omega Leader takes, not bad, only takes 1 point in return from Kath, and fires at her, but it looks like she's able to dodge both. And Palpatine gonna open up here. Might as well get his use the guns on his ride. 1 potential there. And no dice, unfortunately.
Kath is really getting some work done.
Yeah,
I know she's a pirate, but honestly.
Well, we're definitely going to be seeing some whisper action this turn. Looks like the shuttle did his 0 maneuver. He's not going anywhere. And
now, is this going to be... Yes, it is. It's the 2S loop that the TIE FO just has. It's so cool. I love it.
It's fun. Yeah, we first saw the Signature loop on the on Zizor there on the Star Viper, but having the 2 loop versus the and also IG-88, but having the 2 versus the 3, it can put you in some really unexpected spots.
Oh, one of our commenters on YouTube mentioned that Zizor is actually pronounced Shazor or something like that.
Huh.
I have absolutely no idea how to read phonetic language, so we're going to have to go on find one of those how to pronounce videos, and hopefully it's not pronounced Scoot and Fruity.
I guess we'll go hit up Wikipedia or something like that. And this, oh, interesting. So Kath doing a K-turn herself here.
I think that's a fairly smart move just because of where the battlefield is. On top of which, you have to remember that the Firespray does not have a really good dial when it comes to doing lots of sharp maneuvers, especially those 1 maneuvers. You got the 1 forward and the 1 banks. You don't have that 1 hard turn, and while those are green, your 2s are fairly limited on what you can do for greens. So getting that out of the way now... Ooh.
That was a little greedy, I think.
I do not know. That is very
tried
close.
to K-turn.
Oh, she tried to K-turn.
She tried to K-turn, and Boba tried to K-turn here, ended up bumping Kath. I think Boba K-turning, as I say, that was a little greedy. I would have just simply banked in and just gone towards Omega Leader there.
Yeah,
But
it's not a bad thing for Tanya right now. Just because of those auxiliary firing arcs, it does give you a bit of flexibility.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
It's not that good to lose some actions, but it doesn't look like Boba Fett's going to be fired at a whole hell of a lot.
No, and Boba does still have the target lock from the K4 the previous turn. So even though he is stressed, he does have some modification. And Whisper is out in the open. She's not cloaked. And so that's 3. Has to Palpatine again on the first roll here. Whisper uses her evade token, and she will now fire back, taking her 4 shots into Boba Fett here. And it is at range 3. But,
That is not what you want to see on your 4 attack dice, especially when you have someone like Boba Fett whittling you down with his higher pilot skill.
oh, but one of those... Well, Callus would have... It looked like there was a focus in there, and Callus should have been able to change that, but it looks like Boba doesn't care. And now Kath can get her shot into Omega Leader. Try to, again, finish him off. Only has the... Well, he's got, what, 3 health remaining? 2 health remaining?
Yeah, only 2 health remaining.
Only 2.
And looks like he got out of the scrum.
He did.
Getting some returning fire, definitely on Kath. Kath can't do anything about it, especially when you have one of those evade results turn into a focus that you can't change back.
Yeah. Well, we've got... Oh, yeah, Cal. It's such a nice ability, just that double dipping of, hey, I'm going to change your dice, but you can't change yours.
Well, yeah, absolutely. You can't change them all when you're target locked. I misspoke a little bit there. That Tyapho didn't have the evade token. That's something you want to keep in mind when you're fighting against the Omega Leader. Is that ability of Juke only really takes effect when he has an evade token. So
yeah, and there was the shuttle getting a range 1 shot, a nice clip through the front of Kath's base, and did actually manage to blow her shields clean off.
Phew. Palpatine getting it done.
Yeah, he's doing some work here, and Whisper decloaking forward. She's going after her target of choice here. Now, it's going to be interesting if she continues to try to harass Boba, or if Scott switches his fire to Kath with her having her shields down.
What I would do if I was Kath is I would just burn forward.
Yeah, when you also have to... She does have to be careful because Omega Leader is going before her.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that's kind of frustrating about the older style ships, especially something like the Firespray. It doesn't have very many green maneuvers. It has a grand total of 3. It doesn't have any green maneuvers in its 3 bank or its 3 category. So something like the Slave One should have something like a 3 forward, which is green, but it doesn't. So you're really limited even though the K4 Security Droid is really amazing, you get stressed out. It is really bad for the Firespray.
Yeah, and Omega Leader, I'm impressed here, managing to just sneak down in front of Palpatine, reacquires his evade token, and it looks like Kath actually stopped Palpatine just short enough. Whisper, a really sharp maneuver from Whisper here. The 1 hard turn. That is definitely something we have to be careful of when playing your Phantoms, is don't get... Just because you can 1 sharp turn,
doesn't mean you
always
should.
have to.
Yeah.
I can see the reasoning, though. He wants to possibly catch Boba if he decides to just swing past Kath. But I don't think with this arc he doesn't have it.
No, I don't think Boba's going to be doing a lot of swinging. I think he's going to do a 1 green bank. He's going to pile up on Kath. He's still going to get that target lock from the K4 Security Droid, I believe. Depending on the interaction of stress and green maneuvers, he might not.
Yeah, well, we got Kath can get out of the way first, so here she goes. Now she is going to have a beautiful shot into the back of Omega Leader here.
Yeah, I think my initial looking at the K4 Security Droid is you do not get it if you were stressed before. It's the same thing why you wouldn't get a focus token if you have Night Beast and you do a green maneuver and you're stressed. So
it is a...
There is drawbacks for it, despite the fact that it is a 3-point crewman.
Yeah. Now, Kath will have 5 attack dice into either of these ships.
Do it up.
It is a very, very nice ability. And so, yeah, it looks like they are playing it out that way. So there's no target lock from the K4. But that is a green maneuver, so Kath will... she's taking an evade here, just in case. Try to mitigate Palpatine's shot.
Yeah.
Because Omega Leader is, well, he's not going to be shooting her. And now this is adventurous.
This is not what I was expecting at all.
No, that is the opposite direction that I would have thought.
And as I was saying before, you don't have those type maneuvers on the Slave 1. I don't think Boba Fett can recover from that. I think she's going to fly off the board.
Yeah, I think he's gone next turn.
And
well, I say I think. I know he's gone next turn. Just by the
well,
how he has to turn. Yeah.
Keep in mind that Boba Fett does have inertial dampeners on him.
That's
so
true.
It could buy him one extra turn.
He can buy a turn.
But that's still not what you want to do. In all honesty, if I flipped over that maneuver and I thought, oh, this is not the right direction, I'm going to fly off the board, I would blow my inertial dampeners then and there.
Yeah. They are a nice... Ah, crap, I misjudged. They're a very nice piece for that.
Yeah.
And so there was... that was Boba Fett shooting at Whisper, Agent Callus modifying one of them to a focus, and forcing Boba to spend his focus to remodify the dice.
At this point, I would have just taken the damage, knowing that I'm probably losing it within the next couple of turns.
And so here we go. So Whisper with her defense back. And we do still have Palpatine available. It looks like that is the Palpatine. No, that's Callus.
It's Callus
changing
triggering,
one
yeah.
focus.
And that's a really tricky thing with something like Agent Callus is you have to remember to use him.
Yeah, and there is but Palpatine used the other, so it looks like Scott rolled 2 focus results for his evade.
Nice.
But Whisper had her evade token, so she disappears again. Or she manages to get out of that scot-free.
Yeah.
And she's going to be firing back. So this is through an asteroid, so Bubba will have 3 defense dice here. But that looks like 4 hits.
Now, one of the things that I don't know if Tanya remembers this or not, but it looks like Boba Fett was within range 1 of at least 1 or 2 ships.
Yeah.
That would give him some rerolls.
There is some reroll potential there, and so Whisper gets her focus. Well, should have a focus from her pilot ability, and it looks like Scott is not electing to recloak her. And here is... That is Kath. 5 attack dice. Into the back. That is Omega Leader toast.
That is impressive.
That hurt. I don't know why he only rolled the 2 defense dice. He didn't have the crit on. Didn't have a crit on him at the time.
No. That came after.
But that is Omega Leader just gone. But we got Palpatine taking his range 1 shot into Kath Scarlet. And that is 3 potentials. That looks like that is definitely a blank and possibly a focus. And that is Kath taking a hit.
We got a crit in here too.
And a structural damage.
Oh, that is not very good for Kath. Kath is only 2 defense dice when it comes to defending, and now all the way down to 1 defense dice. Only has 3 hull left, if I recall correctly, and for the most part, it looks like Boba Fett's flying off the board. So right now, Tanya's in a really bad spot in order to deal with the rest of the squadron.
And there's Whisper's cloak token. The ship was actually hiding it.
Oh,
so that's good.
The cloak was cloaked.
And seeing if she can sneak in here between the asteroid and...
That will be a close call.
That is very close. Looks like she does manage to land it. So she is just gonna continue hounding Boba here. She has to be really careful, though, that...
She doesn't fly off the board herself.
Well, she's going to be running into the back of him, so she's not going to have an action. Unless she... Oh, and she just does the one turn. Probably just going to recloak here. Let Boba fly off.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea. If you don't, and Tanya does pop Inertial Dampeners, that gives Boba Fett the opportunity to just annihilate the Phantom.
Absolutely swat the Phantom out of this guy.
And I could see Kath. Kath does have the maneuverability to take on the shuttle, especially if it stays at like something like range 3, leverages the superior attack dice against it.
Yeah. So she's going to bank. This is going to be... So we've got the K4 going to trigger. My guess says just right into that shuttle again. She doesn't look like she's range 1, but this is still 4 attack dice coming out the back.
Still 4 attack dice. Definitely what I would do is grab some evade tokens, just because you have Palpatine there, and Palpatine can be really, really sneaky with his modifications. You don't have that many hull left.
Can be. Looks like a focus, though. So she didn't try to repair the crit, and there is, yep. So Boba has prolonged his existence for a turn.
Nice.
There's the Inertial Dampeners.
Very nice move.
And he is now going to try to, very likely, try to swat Whisper. And this is going to be a 4 versus 4. And we'll see how that goes.
Here's the roll. Oh, and it's not very impressive.
It's not. Now let's see.
Does she remember the rerolls from Boba Fett's range 1 ability?
The tension. This is killing me.
And this is what really will make or break a player, whether they can remember in the heat of the moment all of their pilot abilities, and it doesn't look like she remembers her... Oh no, she's going to spend her target lock.
Yeah. Okay, so that target lock has just persisted there. And Callus is going to modify that down to a hit. Or down to an eye, sorry.
So that is actually not Callus that's doing that. That is the sensor jammer.
Oh, the sensor jammer, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, Agent Callus will use the focus to
ease your defense.
Yeah, exactly.
So the sensor jammer, yeah, that's right.
It's too many things, man.
All the modification. And it looks like Whisper, well, she came out of it. She's only taken the 1 hit so far. Which is... Oh, unfortunate for Boba. His last hurrah just...
Yeah, well, with the reroll, it was a bit nice to see that, but it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, the sensor jammer is not something we usually see, especially on a Phantom, given you usually want to put a fire control system on it.
And I have seen that the sensor jammer is being a lot more popular, especially with just the sheer amount of damage that's being thrown out in dice modification. Something like the sensor jammer goes a long way, and it's becoming a lot more popular on some of the ships, especially like something like a shuttle, a Palp shuttle.
Yeah.
So yeah, having to force the issue when it comes to focus is very nice.
And so Kath decided she wanted to shoot Whisper, so cloaked through an asteroid. A little gutsy there.
Yeah.
And Whisper just says, "No, I don't care."
Now the thing to remember with the sensor jammer, and I think Scott was playing this wrong, is when it comes to dice modification, I believe the defender modifies before the attacker does. So when she throws the blinded pilot, that is not what you want on Kath.
Especially when you're going to have 1 ship next turn and a major hull breach. This is definitely the new damage deck. That is one of the scariest crits you can get.
Oh yeah, for sure. The reason why she is using the new damage deck is because she's using heavy laser cannons, I am sure.
You don't want those shot off,
You don't want those shot off, no. But, yeah, going back to what I was saying before, I think Scott was misplaying how he was using sensor jammer, because the defender modifies before attacker does. Yeah, so when you throw those dice, he has to use a sensor jammer, and then she can pick up those dice and re-roll it.
Yeah. It's order of operations of who touches whose dice.
Yeah. So, Scott, get good, scrub.
That's all right. All right, so we've got the shuttle just being lazy, moseying on up. He's really put a kicking into Kath here. She's only got 2 hull remaining. Gonna take a target lock. So now that shuttle now has all of the dice modification, at least offensively.
Yeah. If I was Kath, I would burn. I just get out of the way. You can easily outmaneuver this shuttle if you just spend the time to do it. And right now, you can't make any shots, so just get yourself some distance.
Yeah, and Whisper is actually remaining cloaked this turn. So no shots from her. We did not see her decloak. Oh, you can't take that off. She didn't decloak. I'm not so sure about that one.
I don't know what's going on. I think he might have spent his action to decloak.
Okay. No, when
No,
you
you
decloak,
can't.
though, you still have to move.
Yeah. No, I don't know what's going on. I don't know.
Not so sure about that one. I think we got Kath. She's, again, just doing the 1 maneuvers to keep the K4 security droid ticking here.
I think she forgot what her crit is.
Yeah. She took an evade there. And I don't think Kath is going to survive. And there's Boba.
Yeah, he's out of here. He's hitting the lights. He's going to hyperdrive.
Yeah. Scum is as Scum does. He's leaving Kath to her fate. He doesn't want any part of that.
No, he's done his business. He got the Omega leader.
Yeah, he's getting out of there.
Emperor Palpatine and experimental fighters. Nah, pirates can handle that.
Well, there is Palpatine shooting at Kath.
The 1 defense dice Kath.
1 defense dice Kath, yes. And let's see, it looks like a couple are going through there. And a couple is all he'll need.
And that will be Kath dead.
Should be. Oh, just that nasty ability of all further damage. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
It's...
No, you're right. It's
There
gone.
it is. Okay. You're teasing us.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to take a break to go to our sponsors, and we'll be back right after these messages. Hey, Matt, did you know that Atlantic Canada has a new gaming and tournament center in downtown Fredericton?
Yes, John, I did actually. I'll tell you what, I'd do even better. Check out the website yet. You can go on there, order X-Wing stuff online, get it shipped to you anywhere in New Brunswick or Nova Scotia. You've even got more locations to come soon. It's metagames.com, you should have a look.
So you're telling me that I can go online and order a bunch of T-70s for the integrated astromech, and it's going to get shipped right to my door?
Yeah, and once you got them, come on down Monday night. It's our free play night. Come in, meet all sorts of interesting people, nice big open play space. It's a really relaxing time. You should check it out.
That sounds awesome. What's the website again?
It's metagames.com, so metagames with a Z on the end of it.
Long live metagames!
All right, guys. Well, that was a heck of a game there.
I saw these 2 squadrons. We've seen Scott a month or 2 back on the videos, and it was a really neat fight. He threw the game, and it was just one of those, oh, dude, really? And here I had this opportunity to show these 2 squadrons. I saw Scott again, give him another opportunity to shine. But now we have Tanya, and Tanya was flying 2 Firesprays. I hadn't really seen a squadron like that. I saw it in Imperials back in like wave 3 or 4,
Yeah.
and it was like not very good.
It was not, no.
No, but now we have a redux of the Scum versions. Both of them are brand new and shiny, and a whole illicit upgrades and Scum crew, and it just was awesome. I wanted to get it on camera, and I felt that Tanya just didn't have what it took to remember not to fly off the board. He made a classic Scott error. We've seen Scott do that.
Yeah, we've all done it.
Yeah. And it just was one of those, it's like, oh, you have the potential right there, and bam, it just doesn't happen.
That was close. And it was good to see that, okay, Whisper losing that cloak token, she didn't shoot anyway, it didn't affect the game. So that was nice. It's always nice to see little mistakes that don't actually affect it at all.
Oh, for sure. And what I have to say about this video, though, is that we got to see the absolute lethality of Kath and Boba Fett, especially when they work together. You
Yeah.
get some really dangerous kill boxes, unexpected kill boxes.
Yeah, Omega Leader, he got swatted.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Absolutely
I have
got
not
swatted.
seen Omega Leader get squatted that hard that quickly. So, all right, guys, let us know what you think of the video in the comments section below.
As always, thanks for watching Wookiees on X-Wing. Be sure to like and subscribe. We've got videos out every Wednesday.
We are part of the Northern Gaming Network. Be sure to check it out at northerngamingnetwork.com, where we have additional content for this game and others.
And if you guys want to get hold of us, John will tell you how you can do that.
Well, you can find me at CoreHav, but you can also find us on Twitter at NorthGameNet, or you can like us on Facebook to keep up with our most recent news.
And we'll see you guys next week.